of switching gears a little bit, we were following a breaking news story coming out of Wauwatosa. That was on Friday. There was a major shooting out there at Mayfair Mall. This is a mall that has had some really tragic things happen there, again in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. We have Fox 6's Angelica Sanchez, who's going to kind of break down what happened and what the latest developments are today. Angelica, how are you doing?
Yeah, well, hello there. It was definitely a very intense night here last Friday where we had a shooter that turned out to be 15 years old, allegedly opened fire on 8 people. That was 7 adults and 1 teenager. Now, what we know is that the shooter has been captured. He was captured Saturday night. Wauwatosa police informed the media of that arrest on Sunday. Now, where things are today, because of the age of the alleged shooter, we've learned that his case at this time is being reviewed in children's court.
Angelica, have there been any other arrests in this situation or just that one that we know of?
So we've learned that there were actually several other arrests, but again, police are being very tight-lipped on the circumstances surrounding those arrests and the ages of the people that were arrested. This all revolves around the age of the alleged shooter. Because his case is being reviewed in children's court, there's a whole other legal process and other reasons for law enforcement to be more discreet about the circumstances surrounding this investigation.
And what's it been like out there in Wauwatosa? You guys have had kind of a difficult time, specifically Mayfair Mall, for people who maybe don't understand exactly what's going on out there. Can you explain how the town is dealing with this situation?
Well, obviously, it was a very terrifying situation. That's how a lot of people described it to us because, you know, for about 24 plus hours, the shooter was on the run. So there was a lot of concern for this community. And that night of the shooting, you know, it was a busy Friday night, a week before Black Friday, people getting some holiday shopping underway. So there was a lot of people that were both working and people that were shopping inside the mall. So really, the real feeling in the community was terrifying until, of course, we learned that there was an arrest made Saturday night.
And have you heard anything else about those 8 who were injured? How severe were those injuries? Are any of them life-threatening?
Well, thankfully, what we've learned is that none of these injuries were life-threatening, and in fact, most of the people that were injured Friday night are already recovering at home.
Alrighty, any more deadlines for that investigation? I know it's obviously an ongoing investigation. They're not trying to tarnish any of that evidence, but could we be seeing any further results this week, any more from the police?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as you mentioned, this is very much an ongoing investigation, and because now children's court is involved, there's a whole other legal process. We actually spoke to a legal expert, a criminal defense attorney, and asked him his take. Where would this case go from where we stand today? So there's one of 2 things that could happen. One would be that prosecutors would try to waive this case into adult court. So that would be its own process. Until that happens, if and when that happens, this case goes to adult court, that's when more information would become available into a motive, into why something like this would happen in this community. So it's still very much an open investigation, and really it all relies on the process and the steps taken in children's court, which are obviously much more discreet, and we as media do not have access to some of those documents. So really we're hoping that more information will become available in the coming days.
Okay, great. Angelica, thank you so much out there. Is there still a high police presence by that mall, I'm assuming?
Well, right now what we've learned is that there is a police presence, but it's more in relation to the holiday rush, people coming out, getting their shopping done. So there is that police presence. Really, the community is stressing that this mall is a safe area. What we learned was that the shooting was not random. This was a shooting that was between two groups. Now, several innocent people were victims in that shooting, but this really was an altercation between two groups. The community, the mayor, and law enforcement stressing that this is a safe place to come. And if you see police or law enforcement here, it's really more in relation to the holiday shopping.
Alrighty. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Wauwatosa at this time. Thank you, Fox 6's Angelica out there in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Again, you're watching news now from Fox. Just a devastating story out there. 8 injured in a shooting. They just arrested that 15-year-old with a connection to the shooting, and more to come. I'm sure we will be hearing from our sister station Fox 6 on this story a little bit more. So just before we took that live report, we were talking about Georgia results. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to head over to Maryland with Governor Hogan, who's giving a briefing on COVID-19 and their response to this virus as it really spreads throughout the country. But first, we're going to send some of you off to a 2-minute commercial break. When you come back, you will be seeing that briefing. Again, I'm Daytona Everett, where we're bringing you live, unfiltered, raw, nonstop news all throughout the day, whether it be breaking news or COVID-19 briefings. It's everything that you need to be hearing when you're sitting at home during this 2020 year. Thanks for joining.